Alright, so in true Cody fashion, I didn't even take into account the fact that my phone would just shut off because I talk too much. Ha! But I guess it's going to be a true test to my ability to recall any kind of things I said in the last video, but I believe I left off at the point where I was describing how much my disorders have sort of caused problems in my life, and I believe I left off where I was kind of trying to talk about how it's caused multiple problems between me and my husband, as well as me and my own children, and just about any other person you would think would be close to you, whether it's family, like my mom or my dad or my sister, my brother, best friends, and anything like that. It definitely has been a major setback in my life, and I, for once, am finally ready to admit that I no longer want it to have any kind of control over my life. Disorders like what I suffer from have also caused me to sort of lack in any kind of professional life, or any kind of, I severely must lack in some things that to me are normal thoughts and actions, but to others are not. And that's kind of where I'm at in this. When it comes to how my life has suffered professionally, gosh, it's kind of hard for me to put into words, but here recently, as most of you know, because I was friggin' proud and I was loud about recently being hired for my dream job, I do realize now that I was probably more loud than what I should have been. So chalk that up to a lesson learned the hard way. But yeah, I was terminated for, the only reason I got was poor judgment on social media. And I tried to write down some stuff, but I'm trying to do this kind of raw so you can see how your thoughts can go everywhere. But I'm not quite sure what happened. I trained for the past 3 weeks and everything was great. Everything was good. I was completing everything that was asked of me. I was doing really well. I really had no issues with doing the actual job. So apparently when it came down to it, after 3 weeks of just over mental stimulation, on top of processing a lot of new information, and as well as with the job I was hired to do, it was a lot of like my worst nightmare. It was a lot of processing emotions that I already, to begin with, knew I had issues with. And let's just say my first time, I failed. I failed miserably, apparently, and I still, right now, am unsure as to what I possibly could have even said that gave them grounds to terminate me. But I also know that it must have been something that I, for some reason, did not think in that moment was going to have any repercussions, but it really did. I'm a little heartbroken. That was my dream job. But at the same time, I am blaming myself because if I would have just made it known that I have some things about me that require a little bit more attention and a little bit more coaching, a little bit more thoroughly explaining, just what is expected and what, I mean, that's basically it, what's expected of me. I need just a little bit more structure to make sure I fully understand. And I failed to do so when it comes to letting my boss know that I'm going to need that. At this point, I'm actually really okay with it. And I just really would like to express how, if I wouldn't have been scared to open up about the problems and issues with my I have a behavioral and a personality disorder that I feel like maybe I would have been more understood when it comes to how I react to certain things, as well as just me in general. I do know that what I suffer from can cause a lot of confusion and a lot of annoyance or frustration in others outside of myself. And I feel bad because, I struggle enough, and I should feel confident with myself and confident in what I have to offer everybody and other people, including myself, to be okay with admitting that I, Cody Collier-Muncie, do struggle with behaving in ways that come normal to others. And that's all right. It is okay. I'm not a bad person. I I do not have a questionable character, and I do believe I have a very good sense of what's right and wrong. I just sometimes, for whatever reason, can't distinguish proper lines between black and white. I like to live in the gray area, as I refer to it, and a lot of people don't understand that. When it comes to my job, I really have nothing to say other than, like, I know I'm walking away giving it my all. I gave it my best shot, and my best shot just wasn't good enough. And really, it's my fault. It's 100% my fault. All I know is it's time to make yourself aware. Make yourself, you hear the scanner going off. My neighbor has one. I swear it goes off every single time. Anyway, make yourself aware. Educate yourself, because you may also be struggling with a mental personality or behavioral disorder and just don't know it yet. Or you do know somebody that is struggling, and I just think this world would be such a better place if, instead of automatically assuming that someone's questionable behavior is something that has to do with their integrity and their morals and their character, when really 9 times out of 10, there's a reasonable explanation for behavior that doesn't make sense to you. All you have to do is be compassionate enough and caring enough to ask that individual just exactly what's going on. And all I know is, if they do ask and you tell them, and they're still not receptive, understanding, or empathetic to what you are trying to explain that you're going through,